Hello, today's video is all about my dental journey and what made me decide to be a dentist, because that's something which I get asked all the time, and if you're considering a career in dentistry then you might find this interesting. So you may or may not be aware of this, but it's possible to not have all of your adult teeth develop properly. So in my case, I'm missing my wisdom teeth on the bottom, which isn't really a problem. Wisdom teeth aren't necessarily a helpful tooth, but I'm also missing two of my teeth on the top at the front. So the second one back on either side. Now, this is something which was picked up really early on. In my case, my dad was my dentist, so he noticed when I was around 8 years old that the teeth weren't coming through in the order that they should be, so I didn't have all my adult teeth that I should have for my age. So he took me to see an orthodontist. So an orthodontist is someone who specialises in the growth and development of the jaws and the teeth. So they'll do braces, work with surgeons on jaw surgery, that kind of thing. So I went to see a really nice orthodontist when I was around 8 or 9 years old. So she was called Fiona Dyer, and she is a consultant orthodontist, and at the time she was working in the Charles Clifford in Sheffield, which was the dental hospital that I was taken to. So I went to see Fiona and she was showing me before and after pictures of what was possible with my teeth. Now, my dad was a dentist and he would do my checkups, that kind of thing, but from my point of view as an 8 or 9 year old, going to see my dad and him saying ABC 1 2 3 was very different to going to see the orthodontist and seeing what Fiona could do. So when she was showing me all these before and after photos, I was thinking, wow, this is amazing, I just want to be like Fiona. And I was so determined, I wanted to do what Fiona does, be like her, and that was it. I was pretty much fixated from being around 8, 9 years old. So all the way through school, anything I did was tailored towards getting into dental school. I wrote to dental hospitals asking whether I could go and do work experience there. I volunteered in a care home. I had a Saturday job as well. I tried to play instruments, Duke of Edinburgh, everything I could to improve my chances of getting into dental school. And it's quite a common misconception that, oh, your dad's a dentist, so of course you could get in or do that, but nothing that I did was really relying on that. I did get some work experience at his practice, and I appreciate that getting work experience can be really difficult without a contact, but it's definitely doable. Speak to your own dentist, speak to if you're looking to get work experience, speak to dental practices nearby. It's really important to have a cover letter, a CV, take it really seriously, dress smart, approach them in a sort of proactive way. Don't expect stuff to be just given to you on a plate. So saying, hi, can I have work experience because I want it, isn't really going to get you very far. So building a bit of a relationship, a rapport with some dentists, and then trying to get some work experience. So I've kind of digressed there, but yes, I did work experience. I worked as a receptionist, an assistant in dental practices from being about 14. I worked in 5 different practices, and then all the way through university, I did the same. So I would basically help in the holidays, time off, that kind of thing, just doing admin, working on reception, and building my skills and my knowledge beyond what I could learn at university. So I went through the 5 years of uni, and then I qualified in 2016, and I've worked in general practice doing NHS treatments. I've worked in the hospital doing head and neck surgery, sort of surgery training job, and now I work in private practice. So I've kind of had a broad experience from being around 14 years old, so the last sort of 14 years I've been in practices learning and developing. So even though I've only been working as a dentist for 4 years, I've got 14 years of experience in the industry. So there are a few reasons why I wanted to be a dentist. First of all, it's quite a flexible profession. So obviously when you are at school, you may not have decided whether you want to have a family, where you want to live, that kind of thing. And it's something which I felt was a really flexible profession, sort of career for me to go into. There'd be patients anywhere in the country, there's patients all over the world. So almost whatever direction I wanted to take my life in, dentistry could facilitate that. I also really enjoy having relationships with people and communicating with them, spending time with other people. I'm very much a people person, so I really wanted to be in a profession where I could build those relationships, build that rapport, get to know families, and that's, to be honest, one of the main reasons why I didn't end up staying in the hospital or a referral system, because at the moment I really enjoy just working with people and families and seeing the same people time and time again, so for their maintenance, their examinations, that kind of thing. So I really enjoy that side of things. For me, I didn't feel that medicine would necessarily offer me the same options in general, because a lot of people coming to see a medic is an elective, whereas people coming to see a dentist, especially with like cosmetic work and more fancy procedures, that's elective. People want to come and see you, they're choosing to keep coming back, not just because there's a problem. So obviously with cosmetic surgery, again, that's mainly elective, but it's not something which you'd just be doing day to day, whereas as a general dentist day to day, you're still doing elective stuff. I really enjoy also the hands-on side of dentistry, and as a medic, again, because I compared the two careers, as a medic I felt that unless I went down the surgical route or special interest route, I wouldn't necessarily be doing as much hands-on stuff, whereas now my day, all day, every day at work is hands-on. So fillings, crowns, bridges, root canal, gum disease treatment, all those different things. I'm constantly using my hands-on skills, and I really enjoy that. So for me, I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare, medicine, because I've always been passionate about science. I've always just found it really interesting. So it sounds like a bit of a cliche answer, but I just knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. It's what I was interested in. And having done my work experience to such an extent in dental practices, I really enjoyed it and I was fascinated, and I was so desperate to do it. So for me, it was almost like my calling. I just knew. But yeah, I enjoyed the combination of science, being with people, and hands-on skills and sort of medicine. So yes, hopefully that kind of summarised why I wanted to be a dentist. I did also feel it was a more flexible career than medicine, and you don't have to do as much further training if you don't want to. So even to be a GP as a medic, you still have to do your foundation training, so like junior doctor work. Usually you have to then go and do more training to be a GP. When I say even, I just mean compared to if you want to do something hands-on. So even if you want a non-hands-on or less hands-on approach with being a GP, for example, or a medic in medicine, then you'd be expected to still do lots of further training. Whereas for a dentist, you can finish your 5 years at uni, you're expected to do a year of foundation training, and that's like 1 year hands-on in practice with a mentor, and then you're good to go. So for me, I liked the fact that there was the option to carry on doing different things, but I didn't have to, like different training, but I didn't have to. I also really loved the number of different specialties that were available to me as a dentist. So there's so many different ways you can take your career. There's prison dentistry, there's the armed forces, there's pediatrics, there's hospital dentistry, there's community special needs, so special care dentistry, general practice, cosmetic. You can specialise, so there's all these different specialties. So for me, I just felt like there were so many options, but you didn't have to have them. You didn't have to do the extra training. So that's what I quite liked about it, was the flexibility. I also really enjoy working as part of a team. So for me, going into dental school and dentistry, I'd had the experience working in a practice, so I could see that kind of rapport between the team members, and that was something I was really keen on being involved with. So again, working in that team environment, that's something which can happen in loads of different healthcare specialties and loads of different careers, but it was another benefit just of dentistry for me. Some of the downsides, it is quite a stressful profession. It's portrayed quite negatively in the media, and there's this sort of misconception about dentists in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to get into all of that now, but basically I think in general dentistry is portrayed as quite negatively, and we're the bad guys. So that's a bit of a stress. There's also the stress of litigation and complaints, because you might not see eye to eye with everybody. If you're seeing 20, 30, 40 people a day, chances are you're going to come across somebody who's not happy with something you've done. So that's always kind of in the back of your mind. Also, just wanting to do the best for everybody, and it can be a bit scary early on in your career if you feel like someone else could do it better. You think, oh, you're not good enough, or you want to maybe no one should see you, and I think that's quite common. I hear that quite a lot, people thinking they're not good enough. So the stress of dentistry is a bit of a downside. Depending on whether you work on the NHS or privately, there's also pros and cons. I've written a few articles about this that you'll be able to find. They're in Young Dentist magazine, so that's an FMC publication, so you'll be able to find those articles if you want to read them. But yeah, there are disadvantages to working privately and to working on the NHS, so they can be, if you're thinking about either of those careers, then just have a little bit of a look into the pros and cons of each. Another thing which I love about being a dentist and dentistry is the ability to change someone's life. We can transform their smile, their confidence, and it's just the best feeling in the world. I just love so much when somebody comes into me, there's something they're insecure about, something they don't like about their smile, and then I have the power in my hands with whoever I'm working with. Usually it's my amazing nurse Katrina, and we, between us, make that person confident and happy with their smile, and they'll cry in the chair, they'll hug us. Just that, the fact that we have done that for somebody is just amazing, and that is where I get the buzz from. And also when somebody's maybe been scared of going to the dentist, and then they've sort of grown in confidence coming to see you because they trust you, and they say to you like, oh, I used to be really scared but now I'm so happy seeing you. Or when people say, oh, you're the best dentist I've had, or you're so gentle. Every little bit of feedback like that from patients just really lifts my spirits, and that's kind of what I'm in it for, is how I can make my patients feel. So another thing which I really like about dentistry is the community and the network that goes with it. So it's a really small world. Everyone seems to know everyone, and that sometimes is a bad thing, but in general it's a really good thing because it's an opportunity for you to meet other people who are in the same boat. There's so many different study clubs, groups. So I'm part of Dentinal Tubules, which is basically a family of dentists all across the country with local study groups, and I've met so many amazing and inspiring people through that. So for me, the whole community of dentistry is amazing. Obviously there's the trolls and there's the people who maybe I don't see eye to eye with. There's definitely always going to be those clashes within a certain profession, but as an overall sort of view on dentistry, it's an amazing community, and there's so many positive, inspiring, motivating and amazing clinicians out there. I think it's a really great profession to be a part of. So you also have the option as a dentist to be employed or self-employed. If you're working in the hospital in the NHS, then you'll be employed. If you work in general practice, then you're self-employed. This is also kind of linking into the pros and cons of private and NHS. If you're on the NHS, you have a slightly more predictable income because you have targets which you reach, and if you reach those targets, you get paid X amount. Privately, it's slightly different because it's fee per item, so you're paid per thing that you do. So you can have a good month and a bad month, that will vary. Obviously, if you're self-employed, you don't get paid when you're on holiday, so that's something to consider, but you may find that you actually earn a little bit more overall anyway, so it kind of balances itself out. You also, privately, you won't get things like a pension automatically, you won't get NHS pay, maternity pay, so they're also things which you need to just be mindful of if you're considering working privately. They're all things which I would recommend anyone planning either a hospital job, NHS, private, to really look into, just so you're confident that it's going to be the best position for you and suits your plans for your future and your lifestyle. It's really flexible in general being a dentist because, for example, for myself, I'm able to pretty much book annual leave whenever I would want it because I can kind of plan my year around that. But the downside is that if you've got ongoing treatments and cases, it's constantly going to be on your mind, because if you need to see someone every 4 weeks, for example, for a course of treatment, but then you have loads of those patients, when do you plan your holiday? So I personally find it really difficult to commit to annual leave because I'm always thinking about my patients and thinking, oh, well, then they're in their Invisalign, they wanted their Invisalign course finished at that point, and if I go on holiday, they'll be delayed. So you're constantly thinking about your patients and their best interests as well. So it can be quite difficult to switch off, and whilst you can have a lot of flexibility with annual leave, you do feel really responsible. So that's kind of a downside of dentistry that goes hand in hand with a positive, so you have to weigh up the pros and cons. It's great that you can have your annual leave, but it's negative that you feel responsible for all your patients while you're away. So I hope that was helpful and gave you some insight into the pros and cons of working as a dentist. Obviously, if you have any specific questions, then please get in touch. Share this video with friends and family, colleagues, anyone who might be interested in maybe becoming a dentist, or the pros and cons of working as one, because it's something which I get asked quite a lot, so it's obviously a video which some of you are keen to see.
Thank you so much to Dr. Bethany Rushworth for that fantastic video. We hope you found it insightful, especially the pros and cons of her job as a dentist, as well as what she went through when she applied for dentistry. If you have any questions, you can find her on social media at Dr. Bethany Rushworth on Instagram. And if you have any questions about the dental application process, feel free to email one of our dental tutors on hello@step2med.co.uk. Download the dental application process guide that we have on our website, www.step2med.co.uk. steptomed.co.uk, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for all the latest updates on @steptomed. Like, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope you enjoy the next video in our series.